These forums will be recorded and posted on the League's YouTube channel. The link will be shared by the League's Facebook page. Here to tell us more about the League's election forum is Roz Shaleski with the Cheyenne League of Women's Voters. She and Judy Dunn will serve as our timekeepers tonight.
Thank you, Connie. The League of Women Voters is a grassroots political organization that grew out of the women's suffrage movement after the 19th Amendment was ratified in 1920. And women were able to vote on the same basis as men in all elections. The League is nonpartisan and neither supports nor opposes political parties or individual candidates at any level of government. It encourages informed participation in the political process by all citizens because it believes voters should play a critical role in a democracy. The Wyoming League has drawn up a list of principles of campaign integrity for the 2018 election season in our state to serve as a guide for candidates and voters to determine that campaigns are honest, open, and factual. Formed in 1951, the Cheyenne League chapter has long provided forums such as this and is proud to kick off the general election season with 6 forums, beginning first with Laramie County Community College. Our next forum is on October 9th, which is a Tuesday, and will feature county commission candidates. The City Council will be the focus of the Tuesday, October 16th forum, and the Thursday, October 18th forum will feature the Board of Trustees candidates for Laramie County School District Number 1. On Tuesday, October 23rd, we'll hear from candidates for State House Districts 8, 11, and 12. And on October 25th, which is a Thursday, we'll focus on House Districts 10, 41, 42, and 44. The City Council, County Commission, and legislative forums begin at 6:30 p.m. in City Council chambers in the municipal building. The Laramie County School District Number 1 forum will begin at 6 p.m. in the school board room at Sturgeon. Early voting has begun, and Election Day is November 6th. For information about registering and voting, call the Laramie County Clerk's office at 633-4242 or use her website, laramiecountyclerk.com. Thank you all for coming out tonight to meet the candidates.
And now it's time to meet our candidates. Janine Thompson, Ms. Brenda Little, Dr. Harmon Bud Davis II, Ms. Carol Merrell, Mr. Edwin Avery. J.C. Manalo could not be with us tonight, but he did send along the following statement. Greetings to all faculty members and students of our esteemed college. I could not attend this debate due to unforeseen circumstances in my work. I am J.C. Manalo, and I am a college graduate and value higher education. My major in management and financial institution will benefit the college. Besides my experience of running retail stores, which we had to take care of financial back end, which is the profit and loss margin of the company, my political experience is I was an alternate delegate to the Republican caucus in 2016. I believe that I am qualified for the position of LCCC's Board of Trustees because of all of these. I am for promoting what students need more and providing more recognition to students and faculty members. The college needs to promote all its programs, such as the trade courses, that present economic for the state would need. Lastly, I would like to congratulate the college for the 50th year anniversary and the great stewardship of our president, Joe Schaefer. And now to introduce our moderators. The education reporter of the Wyoming Tribune Eagle, Christine Galloway, and Wingspan's tri-editor, Will Crawford. Tonight's forum will work like this. Our moderators will pose a question, and then each candidate will have 2 minutes to answer. After each candidate has answered, each candidate will be allowed 1 minute retributtal. And now, let's go to our moderators.
Thank you. Our first question tonight is this. Why should voters choose you for the LCCC Board of Trustees? We'll start with Ms. Janine Thompson and work our way down.
I believe
There's a little thing
There is a
that
little
says speak.
Okay.
Here.
Okay. Thank you. I'm just going to ask a quick question.
Question, do I have 2 minutes, is that?
I'm fixing that for you
Okay.
right now.
All right. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Christina, for being here. Thank you, League of Women Voters. Thank you to the Wingspan Media, my husband, my family and friends for supporting me. My name is Janine Thompson. I've been a member of First Time Solutions for 17 years and an adjunct teacher at LCCC for the last 12 years. And I also teach at the QuickBooks Training Center here at LCCC for the last 8 years. I believe that with my experience, my morals, and my values, I believe that I would be an asset to this trustees board. I bring an experience of communication, strategic and operational levels, and I believe that I would support the administration, I would support the board, the foundation, and I would support the community and their teachers and the staff here at LCCC. And the students are in my high priority. I value higher education for the students. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. Before I answer that question, I first want to welcome everybody here and thank you all for being here. I want to really thank my husband who's sitting out in the audience. He's such a great support to me, so thanks for being here, dear. There are fellow trustees that are here, and so thank you also for being here and supporting us. Dr. Schaefer and members of the staff and the President's Cabinet at LCCC. Thank you also very much for being here and members of the foundation. I appreciate that too. One of the things I really enjoy being a part of LCCC is the tremendous support from faculty and staff and foundation and our families in our work at LCCC. So on that note, the reason why I think people should vote for me for the LCCC board is mostly because of my experience already on the board. I have served on the board for 12 years, and I cannot believe the difference of how I feel about running now than how I did 12 years ago. 12 years ago, I really wanted to be a part of this college, really wanted to learn. And now that I've been on the board for 12 years, I feel like we are making such tremendous progress and really growing as a college. I have been so proud, and I want to continue to serve the college in the direction that we are going, support the work that we are doing. I'm a lawyer here in town. I'm a lawyer by profession, and I really enjoy challenge and puzzle and learning. I share that with my fellow board members, the desire to learn more about the college. So I hope you vote for me because of my experience and my love of the college and my desire to continue in the positive direction we're moving. Thank you.
likewise, those who have preceded me, I would like to welcome and thank everyone who is here. The reason I'm running for the Board of Trustees is that I feel that I have some unique talents. Obviously, I'm a retired physician, so I know a lot about the medical field and can participate in particularly the medical-related degrees and certificates that the college gives. The other thing that I think is very important is higher education. I believe that community colleges are where higher education is going. And I feel that it is important to have good leadership. The purpose of a board of trustees is not to run the college. We have an excellent president that does that. Our job is to advise and consent. And I have extensive experience on other boards. I have an experience on a national board. I was on the Board of Governors for the American College of Physicians, which is the largest specialty organization in the United States. And on that board, we made multiple decisions with regard to that college and its future. And I feel I can offer many different ideas and talents to this board, and I would hope that you would vote for me. Thank you.
My name is Merrell, and I want to thank everyone as well. I would like to thank all of the people who are here this evening. I would like to thank Christine for representing the paper, and to the Wingspan people who are recording this message, and also to the League of Women Voters. This is very exciting. It's nerve-wracking for me to sit here and talk in front of you, but I know most of you, so it makes it a little bit easier. I just want to say that I have 9 years on this board. I was appointed by Brenda and folks, so thank you. I really enjoyed being a trustee, and I feel as though I'm quite involved in the life of this college in many different ways. I really appreciate my fellow trustees, and Bud is completely correct. I want to say that the trustees have only one employee, and that is our president, and at this time it is Joe Schaefer. Thank you, Joe. It's really my most exciting thing that happens in this college is being a part of it, being on different, in different groups, going to different events for the college. I am a liaison, ex officio member from the board to the foundation, which I have really enjoyed. So I get to meet extra people, and I am able to support this college with not only my presence and my enthusiasm, but also with my money. So that is great. I'm also able to attend the finance and facilities meetings, so I know a little bit more sometimes about how this college runs financially. Thank you very much. It's been a great privilege and an honor to be a trustee here for 9 years. Please vote for me.
Good evening. First of all, I regard this as an extreme honor to sit with my colleagues. I've never been with this kind of a group. Dr. Schaefer, the Honorable Dr. Schaefer, thank you for joining us. I'd like to say just a few things. First of all, my name is Edwin Avery. My surname begins with A. I'm usually first, so it feels real comfortable to be last. Okay. I believe I'm qualified for this elected position as a member of the LCCC Board of Trustees for the following reasons. First of all, my education fits as I possess both a bachelor's and a master's in business administration. And if that doesn't work, I have an advanced degree in theology
from the Roman Catholic Diocese of Providence, Rhode Island. If you don't know where that is, it's on the East Coast. And you can probably tell by the way I talk that I originally am not from here, but I love it here. And I was an assistant professor, and I taught accounting, math, principles of management, and the preparation towards pursuing career possibilities in the School of Business Administration at Johnson & Wales University in Providence. And my career was very diversified, and along with my education, prepared me for this challenging position. But this is the best part. I grew up in an era where there were no community colleges. That's not the best part. But my high school teachers were cautioning me that there's a big gap between high school and college. And believe me, I went from high school directly into college at first, and I felt what the teachers were saying. They were absolutely correct. So I had two choices. Number one, I could go to a prep school, or I could go in the military. And my dad was a city worker, and I was the oldest of 6 children. Okay. So I went into the Army. The sign says stop, so thank you.
And at this time, you folks will get 1 minute for rebuttal.
For our next question, we'll start with Ms. Little and work our way to the left. My question is this. Right, I'll write it there left. LCCC is asking voters to approve a 1 mil levy or property tax that would raise $6 million over 4 years for the construction of a performing arts center and renovations to the Fine Arts Building. Please tell us why you think voters should either accept or reject this ballot initiative. Ms. Little.
What would I do without you? Turning on my microphone, thank you. Thanks, Christine. I am so glad that you asked this question. I am strongly in favor of this initiative that's coming up for election on November 6th. First of all, we have $7 million that have been appropriated to us by the legislature for this particular building project, for the renovation of the Fine Arts Center. If we don't use the money, we will lose the money. And we have some assurance of some funds that are available through the foundation. However, we need to find $6 million to get the $1 million from the foundation and the $7 million from the legislature. I applaud the legislature's insight into accepting that we have a need for this building, and so I don't want that money to go away. Beyond that, the Fine Arts Center and the renovation of the Fine Arts Center is more than just a unit for the fine arts. There's also classrooms involved with people that are going to different classes within humanities and fine arts. We had, I think, about 3,000 students through all of those programs last year. It also includes, this project also includes an auditorium that will hold an audience of 400 people. And I cannot tell you how much this community is in need of that size of an auditorium, plus the fact that we could really use that here at LCCC. Thank graduation. That's all I have to say. Thanks, Christine.
Thank you, Ms. Little. Dr. Davis.
I, too, am in favor of the assessment or bond issue. One of the things that Ms. Little didn't point out is that there is a time limit on the matching funds from the state. And if that money is not raised, the $7 million that the state has appropriated will go away. Therefore, we really need to raise this money. The other factor that I think we should bring up is that this is not a heavy tax burden. There's an example that the college has posted using a tax assessment of $250,000 with an increase in a 1 mil levy. That means $24 a year, which will run for 4 years, or $96 for the entire 4 years on each taxable unit. I don't think this is a terrible burden for people to undertake. And as Ms. Little pointed out, it has tremendous benefits to the college community and probably the community as a whole, because the auditorium could potentially be rented out, which would add income for the college. So I am totally in favor of this line issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Ms. Merrell.
Thank you, Christine. I am completely for this auditorium and renovation of the Fine Arts Building. We don't just run 3,000 students through this Fine Arts Building. Many of those students take 2 or 3 classes in that building, so we could have as many as 6,000 or more students using that Fine Arts Building, and it is in pretty bad shape. One thing that I know is that we are the only community college in this state without an auditorium, and that needs to be remedied. And I think that's what the governor had in mind when he gave us the $7 million for our auditorium, is that we would be at the same level as the other community colleges in the state. So I am very much for this project, and I think both Brenda and Bud have pointed out the money aspect of it, the $7 million for the auditorium, the $10 million from the foundation, which they have already raised and committed, and then $6 million from the public. It is not a large tax burden for most of us. It might be for some. And so I'm hoping that the mill levy tax will be passed and that we will be able to go ahead and do this fine project that will really make our community college a better place. And I agree that we need it for not just the fine arts, but for many other events that are held here. Just like the St. Pathfinder building, we're using it, it's rented out a lot, and it's been highly used. So, thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Ms. Merrell. Mr. Avery.
Yes, you look a lot different tonight than the last time I saw you. But anyway, she was interviewing me for my article in the newspaper. I am definitely for this issue, and I get around the community quite a bit. And first of all, I'm very impressed with the reputation that LCCC has in the community. And I don't know what happened in the last election. I suppose a lot of things, maybe enough people didn't vote. It was an off-year election, and there were 3 items on the ballot, so that might have confused people. But I would predict this time it's going to pass. It will pass. I would bet on it. And I think the school needs it, and it's a part of the growth. And I read Dr. Schaefer's report in the newspaper, and I thought it was very impressive, and I think a lot of other people did too. So I think if we keep talking it up in this campaign, that seems to be one of the big messages in the campaign, that we have to have this, it's necessary. And I think if all of us do that and talk it up, we'll definitely get it. I think the sign's up again, so we'll have to be quiet.
Mr. Avery, you have an additional 60 seconds if you'd like to take it.
Extra 60 seconds. Okay. I'm pretty well talked out about that. I said what I wanted to say. I got the message across. And fellow voters, please join me in vote for this thing and get it out of the way. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Avery. Ms. Thompson.
Thank you, Christine. I am also for the 1 mil and for all the right reasons that all previous. So we definitely, the legislature is going to match $7 million. We definitely need to get our $6 million. And thank you to the foundation for coming up with the $1 million. That was wonderful. So I loved, along with Mr. Avery, Dr. Schaefer, your articles in the paper were very poignant. And I like that you're going to do 4 more. And talking to the community, that was one thing that they were really concerned about. They didn't really know why we need a fine arts building. They didn't know what, they need to know this information. The community is asking for more articles like Dr. Schaefer. They want to know, what is going to happen with this fine arts building when we don't have the students out here taking music and arts. So I'm hoping that this new building will increase enrollments to the music and the arts. I'm hoping that it'll bring more culture to the community and get the community involved to come out here. Get a little bit of, instead of people leaving town, have them come out here and listen to music and listen to concerts. So I would like to see more of that take place. Yes, I agree. On the 100, I talked to people in the community that are saying, well, on a $100,000 house, like Dr. Davis was saying that, it's going to be another $9.20, and I'm already paying $60.20 to LCCC. And so my answer to them was, at some point, they said, we don't have any children out here anymore. And I said, well, at some point, the community supported your children back then. So I tell them, that with the $9, it's just going to support for the next 4 years. We just like your support to get the Fine Arts Building built and get this approved. Thank you.
At this time, would any of you like to take an additional 1 minute for vote? Yes, Ms. Merrell.
Thank you, Christine. If we are able to get the money for our new residence hall, we should have another 352 or a few more students on this campus. And so this fine arts building, where they will be taking exactly more than music classes, they'll be taking all kinds of different classes, because that's one of the main buildings where they take classes. I think it would be a great benefit. Thank you, Christine.
Is anyone else interested in the 1 minute rebuttal? Ms. Little?
Christine, I just want to add a few more comments to mine too. I agree with everything that all of the candidates on this table have said. I'm glad Janine brought up the fine arts and what she brought up too, and the recruitment of students. And I think I want to point out what Carol and Janine were both saying about the recruitment of students. One of the things we look at constantly on the board is how to bring more students into LCCC. We are losing students because we don't have the kind of facilities that we need to have in arts education. They're going to Riverton or Casper where there's better art facilities. I think we need to have those students here. I also think it's a great investment in the community and will help with the promotion of teaching creative thinking, which is something we hear now from employers that they're really looking for. Thank you.
Is anyone else interested?
One other point to be made is the fine arts building is also used by non-traditional students. My wife has taken several art courses out here, and several of our friends have taken art courses. And the non-traditional students utilize that building all of the time. And the other thing is we don't have an adequate art gallery, and this new facility will improve the art gallery markedly. And so, again, it's just a very advantageous project.
Is anyone else interested in that 1 minute? Thank you.
After this question, we would want to give the audience an opportunity. If you have a question for the candidates, please stand by the podium and we'll have your chance to ask your question. This next question is for Dr. Davis to start with. Another LCCC facility that is in need of repair is the Recreation Athletics Center. The electrical and heating systems are at full capacity. There's no air conditioning, and the pool is costly for a limited number of users. Last year, voters soundly rejected a bond issue that included improvements for the center along with other projects. How can the college raise the money to pay for the renovations?
I think one of the first things that we could do is authorize an economic evaluation of the impact of improving the facilities. I know from talking to some of the students here, the Region 9 championships have had to be placed elsewhere. Those would bring in, I assume, hundreds of people who have to stay in motels, eat in restaurants, take advantage of our community, which would raise tax dollars. The other thing that the economic program might be able to divulge is how it could be rented out for other uses, again adding to the income of the college, just like we've talked about the Fine Arts Building. I think I understand why we have proceeded with the Fine Arts program, because it is of the greatest need, and the athletic facilities are probably of a lesser need. The other thing that can be done is that these monies should be solicited from foundations. And I know that the LCCC Foundation has tried to solicit funds for this project, but we need to intensify that, putting the fine arts facility behind to develop more income for the athletic facilities, and I'd like to see that done. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Ms. Merrell?
Thank you, Paul. I am really worried about the RAC, as we call it. I think that it is there's going to be a difficult solution on this one, and I don't think anything's impossible, because I see lots of building going on around here that maybe none of us thought we would see in our lifetime. The libraries in transit right now, it's being built. If you came through the parking lot over here, you see that the London Library, which is worth $6.2 million in the build, it's fabulous. There are lots of stakeholders who have put up their money for this project. The Learning Commons is almost finished. We just have done amazing things on this campus. And if we get a residence hall for $30 million with a loan from the state, then I think we will be looking at the RAC. And I don't know how to solve this problem. I guess my dream was that the rec center for the city would be put out here on our campus, and that's up high in the sky. But I've seen it done on other campuses, and I don't think it's a bad idea. I just am not sure that Cheyenne is ready for that one. But I know that our administrators and our cabinet and the people on this campus will come up with some kind of a solution, and the trustees will back them on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Merrell.
Thank you, Bob.
Mr. Avery?
I just want to make sure that I understood the question. Could you please repeat that question?
Absolutely. Another LCCC facility that is in need of repair is the Recreation and Athletic Center. The electrical and heating systems are at full capacity, and there's no air conditioning, and the pool is costly for a limited number of users. Last year, the voters soundly rejected a bond issue that included improvements for the center along with other projects. How can the college raise the money to pay for renovations to this building?
First of all, I think as far as the Recreation and Athletic Center is concerned, we have something right here on our campus. I would recommend that we would challenge the internal Golden Eagle Club to raise the money first. And then we could screen current grants and consider foundation support for this. I don't think this would really be a problem. My knowledge of the kind of money that's available in this community is kind of limited, because I've only been here 5 years and I haven't really been into this. But this is one of the things that I would like to listen if I get elected to what other people, my other colleagues think, and I would like to support that also. Thank you.
Mr. Avery? Ms. Thompson?
Thank you, Will. As far as the funding for this project at $14.2 million, I think we need to do some research or talk about, see if, if there's anyone out there like, will the revenue income, will that bring any more money in, private donors. I don't know if if the community would be willing to support that at this point with all the other renovations that are going on. I think we need to ask the community and see. I know you're talking about doing an NCAA basketball court, which I think is a good idea. Maybe there's some money funding to do the NCAA to bring it up to speed. So the facility, I know it's in need. It's 44 years old, and I think we just need to do some research to see how the funding would be appropriated. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Ms. Little?
Thank you. Thanks, Will. One of the important lessons that I have learned in being on the LCCC board is every time we talk about building a new building, there is a huge number of decisions and facts and figures that go into us deciding whether or not we are going to move ahead with the building project. Every single time we look at a building project, we look at where we're going to get the money, how we're going to fund it. And of course, there are different aspects of that funding that we always look at. Is it going to pay for itself, such as with our residence halls? Is there going to be donations, or will there be donations from the foundation, from private givers? Is it something that we can partially fund internally? Is from money left over from other projects? Is it something that we should ask the students to help fund with student fees? Should we go to the voters and ask for the money from the voters? Should we go to the legislature? We have all of these choices in front of us every single time we decide to build a building. And one of the reasons why we decide maybe to build one building and not another is because of those funding choices. Some seem more feasible than others when it comes to funding. So now we're looking at the RAC. And one of the things that we learned last year with our election and our failed election, which Trustee Erickson had some feelings about, but we learned a lot of lessons from that, and educating the public and being able to take projects one by one and look at them very closely. We would need to do the same thing with the RAC. I hope, as do all of us here, that we can get that accomplished in the future. We need to. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Little. At this time, you guys can have hold on. Actually,
I would just mention that one of the other advantages in improving the RAC is, again, getting students to come here. Students look for athletic activities. They also look for recreational activities on campus.
thank you, Mr. Anderson.
Well, you may know this question, but are you thinking of keeping a pool? Because I know pools are costly, and I know there's a lot of people in the community that like to use this pool, but do you know what the plan is on that at all? Or?
I personally would keep it.
Does anyone know that answer? So I think that's something we need to talk about too. That pool is very expensive, I know it is, and we have a good pool, our community pool that we could use too. So I don't know, I was just curious about that. So I guess that's in the discussion later. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
You don't want to. Well, I agree that we need some time in the future to improve this RAC situation, because we're right about we need to attract students who want to come here and need athletic endeavors. And the raising of the roof is very important. And one of the items that I really loved about a new RAC was that we can actually hold our graduation ceremony in that space, because it would hold 1,500 people. And the high schools here have better athletic facilities than this college. And so I think it will happen eventually in Joe Schaefer's time.
At this time, is there any questions from the audience?
Thank you. As the former superintendent of schools in our school district here, I would ask what you think about the relationship between K-12 education and the community college, and how you see that evolving.
Ms. Carroll.
Ms. Carroll is here. Thank you, John. And if people don't know, John Little is Brenda Little's husband. You're asking the question on our relationship with K-12. I think we have a very close relationship with the school system in this town. We have concurrent and dual enrollment. We have the SEEK program where the children from the community come out here in the summertime and enjoy these different classes. I think that we collaborate and we try to work together. And I think it usually does happen that we have a good relationship with our K-12 system. I think it can always be better. And I think we need to keep working on that aspect of our relationship. So thank you for the question.
Any additional questions? Ms. Ernie.
Okay, we're on, right? Can you hear me? Okay. It's very rare that I'm not hearable. I really don't have anything further to say than what Carol said, but I am familiar with the situation, and I read about it in the paper. That's how I got the information. And that's it. I don't have anything further to say. Pretty rare, but I don't have anything further to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. That's a very good question. I definitely like the concurrent enrollment and the dual enrollment and the SEEK. I think that's a great program with K-12. Our boys have benefited from that over the years, and it's a great program that needs to stay, I believe. But John, you may have some really good ideas for us too that we can help you, or you might have some suggestions. So we need to bring you to a board meeting and see if we can help K-12. Thank you.
I had a feeling Mike was going to have a question. This question does not surprise me. We have spent many nights in our living room discussing this very thing. We've already talked about concurrent and dual enrollment, which I agree with. It has been very valuable and I think is very important. A couple of things that I want to mention that we have done at the college. There was a time when some of us were concerned about the outreach of the college to our local schools, especially our high schools, especially in the arts programs, about having outreach in our community to make sure that we invite high school students from Laramie County School District number 1 and 2 and different areas of this region, also like northern Colorado and western Nebraska, to come to LCCC as students, and that we need to have more outreach to the high schools to make sure that our students in town know what we have here and that we have great programs here and that they can continue their education here. I think that was somewhat successful, maybe not as much as I would like to see it be in the future, but we had some success with that and that outreach. Also, we've had meetings about program coordination, especially in the areas of math, and making sure that the math curriculum with Laramie County School District 1 is also coordinated with the math curriculum at LCCC. We had meetings with the local Laramie County School District number 1 board to discuss that, and I want to put in a plug right now for BOCES. The Board of Cooperative Education Services. BOCES is a program that's alive and well in many areas of Wyoming, not so much here in Laramie County, and I think we should look at that for funding of education. Thank you.
I think the dual program is excellent. It gives students the chance to get familiar with college and also to obtain credits, so they may be able to graduate earlier. The other thing that I think the college might do with K-12 education has to do more with seniors alone, and that is offer a free college preparatory course to try and educate the students as to what the expectations of college are. One of the things in some of the reading I've done about higher education, there's a high level of freshman dropout, primarily because students get there and they're just not prepared, not necessarily academically, but prepared mentally for the demands, for what they have to do. And some community colleges nationally have now started that as a free offering, not only as a recruitment tool, but also to prepare students. And I think that that would be something that might be very worthwhile.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. It is time for tonight's final question. You'll have 2 minutes to answer this final question with no rebuttal. After all we've discussed here tonight, please summarize once again why voters should support your candidacy for the Board of Trustees. And I'll turn it to you.
Are you only going to go 1 hour?
I thought that's what we can go a little longer if you'd like to.
I think you've got some good questions.
Let's go one more lunch. Do the lunch. So instead of that question I just asked, as you had said, in the face of steady tuition increases, textbooks, cost increases, etc., what can the trustees do to keep college more affordable for students?
No, I can't hear you. Can you repeat that again?
Absolutely. In the face of steady tuition increases, textbook cost increases, etc., what can the trustees do to keep college more affordable for students?
How to raise money for textbooks. That's what I get out of the question, right? Okay. I think one of the things, this is a pretty popular thing. I mean, you can't run a college without textbooks. And I think that community fundraisers would be the place to go for this. And I think it would be very successful. And I think it would help the school. It would make our image even better than what it already is, because I think a lot of times books aren't very expensive, and it's something the average person can afford. And they feel good about contributing to a college. And I think that would be the way that I would recommend. Thank you.
Thank you. As far as tuition, I think, thanks to the foundation, we have over 4,000 scholarships out there, and we need to get these students to start enrolling and getting using these scholarships. And we have $8 million, I think, that we give every year out here at LCCC. So we need to get those students out here to apply for those scholarships. As far as textbooks, I believe one way to go with my students are starting to look more into the ebooks, and if the bookstore would maybe look more into some ebooks. I know it's far from our generation, but they're starting to like those ebooks more, so we may be able to see if we can do that. Because I know some of them are going out online on Amazon and buying the books, but of course we'd rather keep that money here in our bookstores, so maybe we can start looking at selling the ebook editions of the textbooks. Thank you.
I first want to address the question of tuition. And tuition is not set by the LCCC Board of Trustees. Tuition is set by the Wyoming Community College Commission. Now, we have a say with the commission. We have a couple of trustees that we appoint from the board that are voting members to meet with the Wyoming Community College Commission. But we have a chance to advocate with them We usually support Dr. Schaefer and the efforts of all 7 of the college presidents in the state, in our view, to keep tuition rates low, or at least at small incremental increases, whatever we believe is best for our students and for the college. So even though we don't set tuition, we have a say and a voice with the Wyoming Community College Commission in their choice of whether or not to raise tuition. As far as student fees are concerned, a lot of our student fees are actually chosen by the students themselves or increased by the students themselves. We have a say in some of those student fees, and whenever we are talking about increasing student fees, we have a lot of discussion about our stewardship and our responsibility with the students and our ability to raise or not their fees. So that's something that's taken on a case-by-case basis. I agree with Janine about the scholarships. We have a lot of scholarships here at LCCC, and I think it would be good for us as far as helping college be affordable if we let our students know about the scholarships that we have out here, and also to encourage members of the community to give to the scholarships we have out here to support education. Thank you.
I concur with everything that has been said previously. The cost of textbooks are going to continue to increase, and I don't know how to get about that. I know some institutions buy back textbooks and resell them at a discount. That might be something that could be considered. The other option with regard to tuition and fees are as outlined by Ms. Little. I would say that if students need to take advantage of the counselors that are available here, there are many scholarships besides the ones that are locally given by the foundation. There are scholarships. I was the chair of the Rotary Scholarship Foundation, and you can apply for that. That scholarship was $1,500 with the potential of getting another $5,000 if you wrote an adequate essay that was approved by the region. So there are many, many scholarships, but the students need to take advantage of the counselors. Counselors know about these, but they're not going to seek the student out to tell them. And that would be the message I would have for the student body.
Hi. I agree with what everybody said. I honestly think that community colleges are the most affordable education that we can get besides K to 12, which are paid for by that education is paid for by the taxpayers. But I went to community college, and for me it was affordable, even though I had 3 children at home and a husband. But this was the way to go for me, to get an AA and then get a BA later. Even the trustees have a scholarship here at LCCC, and I mean, if there are 4,000 scholarships, I'm on some organizations, especially the hospital, where we give nursing scholarships and we give scholarships to the medically related fields out here. So there are many unclaimed scholarships. And I think the counselors will be able to tell folks where those scholarships, where they can get applications for them. But I think the teachers in each of the classrooms can also give that information to their students. I think that this community college has very affordable educational opportunities. And I know books are expensive. I hang out in the bookstore sometimes, and I hear that it's difficult sometimes for the students. And so maybe the student has to take a loan to buy their books or to even fund their living while they're going to school. So thank you, that's a great question.
Now for a 1-minute rebuttal. Sorry.
Could you speak louder? We can't hear you.
Get your mic closer to your face.
And now for a 1 minute rebuttal, starting with you again, Mr. Avery.
I appreciate all the contributions to this issue. However, I still stick by mine. I like the idea of a big community fundraiser for textbooks. I think that would be great for the community, and I think it would be great for LCCC. Thank you.
For our next question, we'll start with Ms. Thompson. Over the past couple of years, the college has implemented a new compensation model that groups employees into 8 different classes based largely on industry demand. Based on this model, faculty in the health sciences have a much higher salary range than faculty in the humanities. Please explain why you support or don't support such a compensation model. Ms. Thompson.
I love that she brought this question up because we talked about this. This is one area that I was not familiar with. I love the idea that we are doing the compensation. I, as an adjunct teacher, have not seen a raise from LCCC since 2011 when I got my master's in accounting and finance. And so when we talked about this, I'm not really sure I like the idea of it being higher for one entity as opposed to the health and science. I think that we should have them straight across the board. We have a lot of great professors out here. I feel that we're all deserving. I know our adjunct teachers don't make near as much as our teachers, and I definitely would like to see that addressed also. So, but I am in support of getting some pay for the teachers out here. Thank you, Christine.
Thank you, Ms. Thompson. Ms. Little.
Thank you, Christine. Compensation and compensation policies are a large part of the discussions that we have every single year when we are having budget discussions here at LCCC. It is not an easy subject for us. The largest percentage of our budget is personnel, which it should be. This is a college of people. It's people that teach. It's people that learn. So that makes sense. What we also know is that we need to, if we want to provide excellent education, we also need to be competitive and be able to recruit the finest and best teachers and minds that we can here in Cheyenne, Wyoming at LCCC. And we as a board always encourage Dr. Schaefer to make this an institution of excellence, and that's what we want it to be, and also a choice place to work. We have to balance those decisions all the time with our budget, with our compensation policies, and sometimes it leads us to have to look at individual areas of education and the demand for excellent faculty and make some decisions about how we are going to recruit the brightest and the best. We take the advice of Dr. Schaefer and his Human Resources Department, who have done extensive research on all of these issues. And right now, I know I have been in agreement with the compensation policy that we have in place right now. I'm sure that if that's not working for us, and if there are problems that come up with that compensation policy, that Dr. Schaefer will not hesitate to bring those issues to our attention. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Little. Dr. Davis.
Unfortunately, the market determines the value of the individual. And if you don't have a differential pay scale, those who can be paid more in the private sector will go there. And that's just a fact of life. And obviously, human resources have done an adequate job of looking at that market and sensing it and finding out who demands a greater amount of pay based on what they teach. It's just one of those facts of life. It doesn't make it right, but it's the way things are. And as Ms. Little pointed out, we want to keep the best teachers we have and not lose them to the private sector.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. Ms. Merrell.
Thank you, Christine. Approximately 2 years ago, when Ed Mosher was on the Board of Trustees, this was one of his main subjects that he wanted to accomplish before he left this college. And I agree with him, and so we charged our president that we wanted to become, and actually Dr. Schaefer is all for this, that we want to be an employer of choice, which Brenda alluded to, because we want the best people here that we can get. And personally, I feel like we have the best people here, because this is my college. Most people fall within the range of 3 on the compensation model. Very few, if none, fall at the very lowest level, and only a few are at the highest level of pay. So most people fall in the mid-range, and there are parameters for moving up. I don't think this particular model has made everyone happy here at LCCC, but I believe that it has made most people happy, and I think it's equitable. I have to tell you, I just think most people that work here are amazing people, and I really appreciate them, and I think they bring great value to this college. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Merrell. Mr. Avery.
Yes, thank you. I love these kind of questions. The question to get better. This is a very sensitive topic. First of all, I think that if we were going to do anything about this by adjusting some of these salaries for what people do, the first thing I would consider, you really need a shield. And a shield could be a national statistical guide as to what people are paid in whatever they do. So that whatever we would do would be in conformance with what those national statistics would be. And I think that would be the easiest way to keep it not personal. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Avery. At this time, would any of you like to take your 1-minute rebuttal? Thank you.
So now it is time for tonight's final question. After all we've discussed here tonight, please summarize once again why voters should support your candidacy for the Board of Trustees, starting with Ms. Little.
Thank you, Will. I first want to say that I am so pleased and impressed with the candidates that we have for the Board of Trustees this year. To see this kind of excitement and interest in serving on the LCCC board is heartwarming and joyful for those of us who have been here for a while. So thank you to my fellow candidates for wanting to be a part of this fascinating world. I would ask the voters to support my candidacy because of my experience with LCCC, not only experience on the board, but I have also taken courses at LCCC. I've been involved with the arts programs here, both theater and music. I have a lot of friends and neighbors that have been involved with LCCC, and I'm very involved in my community in as far as the legal world is concerned, but also in the arts community, and I have a lot of strong ties there. And so I think my experience with both of the community and LCCC is the bridge that's important for a trustee, to be able to make some decisions about how this wonderful college can fit in with our community as a whole. I feel I have that experience, and I also really support LCCC and feel very, very strongly about its future and where it could belong in the aspects of economic development for our community and helping keep young people here in our community. And I really want to work to bring LCCC into the future. And so I would ask for your support in my candidacy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Little. Dr. Davis.
I would ask for your support because I feel I have a lot to offer the Board of Trustees, being trained in analytics, having a particular interest in the medical field, having spent 34 years practicing as a physician and now semi-retired. I support the college, and I agree with Ms. Little. One of the biggest things that I see the college going forward is in economic development, providing the workers that Wyoming needs if we're going to get off of an energy economy. And we have to begin to train them to do other things. My wife is a retired architect, and one of the things that she sees is a lack of training of the tradesmen, which again the college provides. And we need more tradesmen. Just think of trying to get something repaired at your home. And so I feel that I can contribute some ideas and perhaps, as I said earlier, some advice and consent to the college and help it move forward in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. I want to say that I love this place, and I have really enjoyed my last 9 years of serving on this Board of Trustees. I have met so many of you in so many different ways, and it's just been a joy for me to come here and to learn more about each of you and to be involved in all of the different activities on this board and in this college and on the foundation. I do represent the college and the community. I feel strongly that I am of the image of the college as a trustee, and people can turn to me if they have any questions. It is the economics of this city. I think that we are one of the largest employers as well. The other is the hospital, and of course the base. All three of those organizations bring a lot of money into this economy in this city. And so I believe that we are serving an amazing function for this community. Where I mostly see the people that come that are graduates of this school is in the medical fields. Whenever I'm a volunteer at the hospital, so I always ask the nurses and the techs and people who work there, where did you go to school? And almost 90% of them tell me they went to LCCC, and that makes me so proud. And so vote for me, Carol Merrell. Thank you.
I wake up in the morning these days and I have a saying, vote for me. And I get up and that's what I do almost all day. But I share Mrs. Lytle's comment about the quality of candidates sitting at this table. This is good for the school and it's good for the community. Unfortunately, some of us are going to not make it, but that's life. That's the way it is. We knew it when we became candidates. We just hope we're not the ones. Okay. What influenced me to run for this position and why I want people to vote for me? Okay, I know you want to hear this. First of all, I grew up in an era where there weren't any community colleges. My high school teachers were cautioning us that there was a large gap between high school and college. I went directly into college from high school and realized that teachers were right. I felt the gap. The only alternatives were prep school or the military. I came from a family, I was the oldest of 6, and my father worked for the city, so there wasn't too much money around. So prep school was out. So I selected the military, and I was lucky. I went in the Army, and I was accepted into the U.S. Army Finance School in Indianapolis, Indiana. But I wished it 3 years, because I came back and re-entered my college. And if there were community college, I could have been in 2 years and had 2 years out of the way, 2 years to go, and saved a lot of money. And so I think that community college now allows students to fill the gap feasibly. And that means easier to work, to pay tuition, and more maturity to attain better grades. And I found that when I went back after the military. That's what some time does. Therefore, I am a true champion of community college. Vote for me.
Thank you. All right. I would be honored to be part of this administration, to work with the administration, the foundation, with this wonderful board that we have, and with Dr. Schaefer. I'm willing to continue the strategic plan that the college has that they're working on today. I believe that education for students is closely tied to the community. Investing in our LCCC students makes a vibrant future for Cheyenne and Laramie County. Mostly, I care about the students and their ability to get a higher education here at LCCC. I will bring fresh ideas that will enhance the board and the college. One way that I'll do this is I will listen to the students, the faculty, the staff, and our community. One of our citizens had said, we need to rebuild the college reputation with our community. Our community wants to take pride in the college. They want to hear more about us. They want to hear about LCCC in the paper. They want to hear about it on the news. They need to be communicated to, and they will support us. I have my lovely notes here, so yes. I will challenge the new issues. I will strengthen the relationship and the concerns of the community, the students, the faculty, and the workforce. I have a degree in finance and accounting. That will be an asset to this board. I will be an asset to your community. I will be an asset to the board and to Dr. Schaefer and all of you. So please vote for the asset.
That will conclude tonight's election forum. We would like to take a moment to thank the candidates for coming out tonight. Let's give a round of applause. Thank you for coming tonight. Be sure to check out Wingspan's October issue on the 15th for coverage of the Board of Trustees race. And make sure that you are also reading the Wyoming Tribune Eagle each day for more coverage on the races in Laramie County. Have a great evening and drive safe.
Yes.